It's late evening, and a phone call shatters the quiet of your living room. The caller ID shows a local area code. You answer, and the voice on the other end is your grandson. He's panicked. He says he's in legal trouble, and he desperately needs you to send bail money right now. But the person on the other end of the line is a stranger. They are using an AI-generated deepfake, an exact audio clone of your grandson's voice. This is a tactic called vishing, or voice phishing, where scammers use phone calls and manipulated audio to trick you into handing over sensitive information. The 60-plus demographic now faces highly sophisticated, targeted psychological attacks aimed directly at their life savings. Once that money is sent, it is almost impossible to recover. The thieves quickly launder the funds through cryptocurrency networks or offshore accounts, moving the cash across international borders where local law enforcement has no jurisdiction. The authorities cannot reverse the transaction after the fact. Your only defense is to understand exactly how this trap is built before it snaps shut. That voice on the phone belongs to a shift worker inside a massive billion-dollar international cybercrime syndicate. Entire rogue nations actively shield these massive cybercrime networks. They use the stolen funds to quietly finance their regimes and bypass international economic sanctions. Many of the people executing these scams are victims themselves. Criminal networks lure workers overseas with the promise of legitimate, high-paying tech jobs. Once these workers arrive, their passports are confiscated. They are locked inside cyber sweatshops and forced to run tech support fraud, romance scams, and launder money under the constant threat of violence. These operations rely on rigid courtbook structures, complete with human resources departments, performance quotas, and training seminars. They deploy botnets, massive networks of infected, remote-controlled computers, to automate their phishing campaigns with the efficiency of a Fortune 500 company. Simply answering a single scam call connects you directly into the gears of a ruthless, well-funded geopolitical machine. Voice calls are only one weapon in their arsenal. They deploy fake package delivery texts, a tactic known as smishing or SMS phishing, and use hijacked internet browsers to trigger deceptive tech support pop-ups that freeze your computer. They rapidly exploit real-world events. When geopolitical conflicts erupt or natural disasters strike, scammers manufacture fake charities and urgent alerts to capitalize on public anxiety. The FTC's framework reveals a specific scam playbook. First, they impersonate an authority and invent a dire problem. Next, they apply extreme psychological pressure, threatening ruin to force immediate action. Finally, they demand untraceable payment through wired money, crypto, or retail gift cards. This underlying psychological playbook remains identical across every variation of the scam, making the next move entirely predictable. Which brings us back through the international fiber optic cables, out of the boiler room, and right back to your dimly lit living room. Governments are struggling to dismantle these decentralized networks. Your best defense is to build your own human firewall. First, verify, don't trust. If someone calls claiming to be your grandson or your bank, hang up. Look up the official number yourself or call your family member directly to confirm the story. This flowchart illustrates the life cycle of a scam, showing exactly where you can sever the connection, the payment request. No legitimate government agency or business will ever ask you to pay a fine with a retail gift card or Bitcoin. Third, embrace the pause. Because scammers weaponize urgency, simply stopping to take a breath strips them of their leverage. Once you spot the artificial urgency and the demand for untraceable money, the illusion breaks. The manufactured tension evaporates, and you realize you hold all the power. You just have to hit decline. By recognizing the psychological triggers of this industry, you can shut down a multi-billion-dollar international crime syndicate with a single tap of your finger.